Good morning, everyone. Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here. Am I audible and loud? Okay. I am Ayush Somani from the Department of Mathematics and Computing. Would present our paper titled Digital Staining of Mitochondria in Label-Free Life Cell Microscopy. You all shall be hydrated and with lots of caffeine in the morning coffee, hopefully ready for our research presentation, and find it informative and exciting. Before commencing, I would like to thank my team from multiple disciplinaries working together, contributing to the progress of the research work. In today's life science, most cellular components, being transparent or colorless, cannot be examined under transparent light microscopy. A subcellular structure with hundreds of mitochondria, thousands of vesicles, nucleus, and other specimens usually create a hugely cluttered image, making it challenging to extract specific information from the sea of data. Thus, staining molecules with different colors play a vital role in simultaneously tracing distinct cell components. Hereby, the need of special fluorescence staining techniques of blood cells to label and extract information of the mitochondria, vesicles, and other nanoscopic structure for medical study and development. I shall start with the obvious question. Why the need of digital staining? What are the benefits and how could it impact medical science? First, we need to understand the urge to develop a model to stain a bright field image into its fluorescent stained counterpart. Pathologists have found this efficient way of staining cells to study specific structure with high precision with the advancement in microscope imaging, previously beyond the scope of label-free microscope. But fluorescent staining, with its sole major advantage of studying nanoscopic structure with ease, had many disadvantages. This motivated us to train an efficient model to generate digitally equivalent fluorescent image from the label-free counterparts with high accuracy. So covering a few benefits. Apart from being economical, digital staining also reduces the dependency on high-skilled label personnel. It abstains from the time-consuming process of manual staining of the cells, cumbersome to perform. The limited photon budget is losing its charm for its phototoxicity and chemical perturbation to the system. It gives us an equivalent selective tracking of the cell specimens with ease. Avoiding fluorescent substance allow a long duration study of the cell for more exhaustive aspects of the application. Moving forward, this is a diagrammatic explanation of how the neural network architecture with many layers trying to translate bright field images through a black box algorithm. Here, using conditional generative adversarial network can provide digitally stained counterparts, further segmented for subcellular structure labeling and cell tracking. The unstained embryonic hard tissue imaging on the left is passed through a generator network to generate stained digital counterpart B on the right. The discriminator network C is then fed with both the fake and the real counterpart to output probability distribution for the detection accuracy. It is an iterative min-max game of optimizing both the architecture's loss function to get an efficient performing generative model. So you might be wondering, this is a unit architecture for a generator network that has been widely successful in image segmentation and translation tasks. How is our work creating an impact on the traditionally followed state-of-the-art approach? Let me explain. Visually, the state-of-the-art approach looks good. We are able to identify the structure, but how confident are we in the terms of statistics and interpretation? While in certain application fields, this issue may play a secondary role, but in high-risk domain like healthcare, it is crucial to build a trust in a model and to be able to understand its behavior. Often, seeing is believing, but sometimes we should do something more than seeing. So I performed the SSI metric analysis and found the performance wasn't that appealing. On contradiction, we have witnessed wonderful accuracy of the CCAN in various datasets and vast applications like digit recognition, image de-laning, convolutional face generation, etc. If CCAN has been predominantly been successful in image transfer learning, there must be something we are missing in the learning curve of the model. The reported SSIM metric accuracy for the paper like colorectal tumor detection, CBCT image noise reduction, overexposure recovery have used CCAN clearly suggests a significant gap in how the network can perform, meaning we have an application-specific problem here in nanoscopic imaging. So is our work to fulfill the gap between the potential of the architecture versus what we can achieve on this application. An approach to improve the visualization of the mitochondria with better metric accuracy. There are two tasks in hand. Either we modify the architecture or modify what it learns. It is apparently easy to tweak the system to check what the model is being emphasized to learn by changing the loss function that adapts well to this application. Among all the potential challenges we tackled, a missing piece of the puzzle is the model's pipeline wasting so much of its effort in irrelevant information of the background, leading to a slower convergence. And this is the magic in its background suppression. Basically, we need a mechanism that can integrate this background suppression information with our conventional state-of-the-art deep learning architecture. Hence, we have redefined our loss function to be more foreground sensitive, that is, the fluorescent labeled mitochondria we see here in green, and suppress the background noise expressed by the red areas to an extent yet keeping it differentiable and context intact in the entire image space. The proposed loss function has provided us with the ability to tweak the system's learning and make it more robust for improving the model's performance and reliability. On the top is the conventional state-of-the-art loss map visualization, making the foreground learning inaccurate and convergence cumbersome. Below is the proposed loss function using multiple thresholding followed by normalization of the image space based on the 3 sigma rule to achieve a weighted matrix able to differentiate the foreground without eliminating the background context entirely. This not only helped in faster convergence on the tedious adversarial min-max loss scheme, but also outperformed the state-of-the-art approach. The variant approach results in the column 3 and 4 witnesses significant improvement both in visualization and quartile-wise metric analysis compared to the traditional L1 method on the very right. If you are interested in the mathematical formulation, it would be nice to look at the paper where I have discussed the formula and what the notation signifies. The comparative study of the proposed TN weighted loss map compared to the state-of-the-art L1 discriminator loss trained on 5,936 cell image pairs showcases that the proposed method has outperformed in all the 4 common generator transformer loss variant for image translation task, with a large margin of mean SSIM accuracy for the test set of 848 images. Thank you for your time and looking forward to answer all your questions in the Q&A session below.